Hi there. It's November 27th and time for Proverbs 27. I'm in North Georgia and we got through the storm last night. It came right through our path. Honestly, I slept through most of it, so I'll have to wait till it gets lighter outside so I can assess any damage. I didn't hear or feel any strong winds or thunder or lightning or anything, but we did get quite a bit of rain. But we'll find out later. It should be over here soon, at least where I'm at. Okay, let's go over to Proverbs 27. Let's see what we have today. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Right? Delay not the time, but take occasion when it is offered. Right? Do stuff now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Okay? It says, you do not know what a day may bring forth. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Right? We have plans, but God directs our steps. It says that all over Proverbs as well. Okay? Verse 2, and this is important. We'll highlight this one. If I can get my mouse to work. Let not another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. Right? So that's the same thing over here. Don't brag, okay? It always sounds better if somebody else builds you up. If you build yourself up, people don't want to listen to that, okay? It's just not the kind of bragging, conceit. God hates those things, A stone is heavy and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Right. It says over here, the provocation of a fool is heavier than them both. To provoke. Right. Fools don't know the truth. They believe what they believe. And I mean, you can't argue with them because they're fools, right? Okay. Anger is cruel and wrath is raging, but who can stand before envy? It says envy over here. For the envious are. Oh, I can't read that. Why do they do that? For the envious are obstinate and cannot be reconciled. Right. Now it's interesting. This says envy. Over here it says jealousy. Again, two different versions, two different things, and most of the other versions say jealousy. The 1599 Geneva Bible says envy. Okay. Envy is wanting something somebody else has. It's no fear. I wish I had a car like that. I wish I had a big house. And right, when God gives you what you need, not what you want, right? But over here it says, wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Now, jealousy is the worst kind of anger there is because it always involves betrayal of somebody you loved and trusted. Okay? And that's something that you can't console that. Once somebody has betrayed you, they can't unbetray you. Okay? You can forgive and move on. But jealousy is the worst. And it's just too different. Okay? Envy. Okay? Envy is something that can't be consoled either. Okay? Like it says here, they are obstinate. Right? For the envious are obstinate and cannot be reconciled. Right? No fair, no fair. Hey, 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Right? Love that is concealed. That's something you have to think on, right? Somebody openly corrects you, it's better than, God corrects us because he loves us. Okay? You don't correct somebody you don't love. Okay? 6. The wounds of a lover are faithful, and the kisses of an enemy are pleasant. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. What does this say? They're flattering, and why do they do that? They are flattering and seem friendful. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but deceitful are the kisses of an enemy. Says a lover here. If a friend or a lover hurts you, it's faithful. They don't mean to. Kisses of an enemy seem pleasant. They're lying to you, but they have ulterior motives that are always evil. Right? Always evil. 7, the person that is full despiseth an honeycomb, but unto the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. A sated man loathes honey, but to a famished man any bitter thing is sweet. Right? Person's full, and I don't want any cake, I'm stuffed. But if you're hungry, a dry crust of bread tastes sweet. Right? Just facts. 8, as a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his own place. Right? Place, home. Right? If you ignore what's going on in your own life, and you spend your time meddling in other people's lives and wandering away, if a bird wanders away from his nest, the snakes and the bigger birds are going to come and take their young and eat them. Right? And they'll come back and not know what happened. So is a man that wanders from his own place. Okay? Pay attention to what's going on at home. It's important. 9, as ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. I like that. So a man's counsel is sweet to his friend. Right? Sometimes you just need to talk to your friends, okay? Just sweet counsel. You feel better because they love you. That's good stuff. 10, thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake thou not, neither enter into thy brother's house in the day of calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. Okay? This kind of hits home for me, and we can read it over here. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, and do not go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother who is far away. Okay? Now, we have storms coming through here. Okay? And we have friends close by. Okay? That if something happened, would gladly come over. My house is safe. Now, this hits home for me because I have a brother, okay, who has a nice place. He lives 750 miles away, way up north, okay? And he would gladly take me in, okay? But he's 750 miles away, right? When I have friends that have an extra room 20 minutes from here. Okay? Right? Better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. Okay? Good stuff. 11, my son, be wise and rejoice, mine heart, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. Right. Now this is, teach your kids to always tell the truth, okay? I taught my kids when they were very young the advantages of always being truthful. Right? You would always get in less trouble if you told me the truth than if I find out that you lied to me. Okay? So, as a product of that, my kids never lied to me. Okay? Even now that they're grown up, they don't lie to me. Lying is not in their nature. Okay? So, when somebody comes to me and says, like, for example, when my son was 8, a window got broken in the neighborhood. And the man came marching up. Some man came marching up with my son in tow to our house. And I stood on the front porch. And, your son broke my window, and I want you to pay for it. And I looked at him. I said, son, Did you break this man's window? He looked me right in the eye and said, no, Dad, I didn't. And I had confidence, like this said. I can answer a man with reproach. I said, my son didn't break your window. My son never lies. If he broke your window, he would say he broke your window, right? I can replace the window myself, and I would gladly do it for you. But let's find out who did it. So we walked around the neighborhood and got some evidence and found out that somebody else indeed broke his window. Okay? Because my kids didn't lie, I could answer the ones who reproached me that accused them of lying, because I know they wouldn't lie to me. Okay? That's good advice. Okay, 12. A prudent man seeth the plague and hideth himself, but the foolish go on still and are punished. Just read 22:3. We already did. What's it say over here? A prudent man sees evil and hides himself, but the naive proceed and pay the penalty. Simple, naive, foolish. All right. If you see something bad going on up there and you turn around and go the other way, all right, that's prudence. Okay? The other fools that just go blundering on ahead. Happens. Usually makes the news, right? Okay, more about co-signing. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger and a pledge of him for the stranger. Right? Don't ever co-sign for somebody else's loan unless you get a collateral, right? Because you're co-signing, by co-signing for somebody else, you are their collateral. And if he doesn't pay, they're coming after you. So you need a collateral, okay? Solomon says, just don't do it. Just don't co-sign for people. 14, he that praiseth his friend with a loud voice rising early in the morning, it shall be counted to him as a curse. Yeah. Blessed and hastily and without cause. Right. We all have one of those friends, right? I hate to say it's me. I'm an early riser, okay? I get up early. I don't bother my friends in the morning, okay? That's just because they're not. I mean, they sleep till 9 or 10 o'clock, and I'm not going to say, hey, yo, get up. It's a beautiful day. Let's have some coffee. No, that's counted as a curse. He's like, what are you waking me up for? Yeah, that's kind of funny. 15, a continual dripping in the day of rain and a contentious woman are like. More of Solomon talking about his 700 wives, okay? If he only had one wife, he probably could have not had the need to write any of these other ones down about how bad wives are. So God said one wife, one man, one woman joined together to make one. 16, he that hideth her hideth the wind, and she that is as the oil in his right hand that uttereth itself. That's weird. Oh, I guess those go together, but it just sounds weird. He that hideth her. He who would restrain her restrains the wind and grasps oil in his right hand. Right. It can't be done. He's saying it can't be done. Okay. We'll read these together. Continue dripping in the day of rain, and a contentious woman like. He that hideth her or restrains her, tries to restrain or control her, tries to restrain the wind. And she is as the oil in his hands, right hand, that uttereth itself. Wow. Right. Trying to grab oil in your hands and squeezes through. Solomon must have had some very unhappy wives that could not be consoled. Okay, 17. Iron sharpeneth iron, so doth man sharpen the face of his friend. Right. This is another very important. Right? One hasty man provoketh another to anger. That's kind of strange, huh? Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Right. Iron, I mean, they talk, iron will crush any other metal. Okay, let me say that. And if you want to be really good at something, you need to hang out with people that are really good at it. Okay. If you want to be a really good mechanic, you hang around with mechanics that really know their stuff, and they'll teach you. All right. If you want to be a good baker, hang around bakers. If it's anything, iron sharpens iron. Like things sharpen like things. 18, he that keepeth the big tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waiteth upon his master shall come to honor. What's that say over here? He who cares for his master will be honored. Okay. Now, it was written into law back then that the people tending your crops, right, tending your trees or your fields, they were allowed to eat the fruit. They were allowed to as much as they wanted because they're tending your thing, right? Right? And he that waiteth upon his master shall come to honor. Right? Just what the way it was. As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Well, there's no difference between man and man by nature, but only the grace of God maketh the difference. It's interesting. What's that say over here? Oh, as the water reflects the face, so the heart of man reflects man. Answereth to face. That's weird to say your reflection, okay? You're looking upon and you see your reflection. Mm-hmm. So the heart of man reflects the man. Mm-hmm. You can usually tell how somebody is by the way they act. Okay? And if you have the gift of discernment, you can tell if they're acting in a way that is contrary to their nature. Okay? 20, the grave and destruction can never be full, so the eyes of man can never be satisfied. That is the problem with all of humans today. I say this every time I come across this thing. What is the problem with men? Their eyes can never be satisfied, okay? Now, there are a select few that are satisfied. I have everything I need. I'm just going to concentrate on loving the Lord and learning His Word. And we all strive to be like that. But the eyes of man are never satisfied, just like the grave and destruction are never satisfied. You always want something you don't have, okay? They have catalogs and they have, this is how the rich people live. Look at this big house and this big boat and his plane. And I want more. People buy stuff to satisfy something. I want to have it. I want to have it. And soon it's just sitting on a shelf until their houses are so full of crap. 50 years ago, it would have been, people would have thought you were crazy. Okay? And I remember I was there. People would have thought you were crazy if what do you mean? You rented a storage space? You're spending $70 a month on a storage space to put stuff, to hide them in a compartment across town and lock it up just to have the stuff that you never use, you never see, right? Self-storage was, they had vans of storage that were only used. People would fill the trucks up with their furniture, and they would store that professionally. Okay, that happened for hundreds of years. When you're moving a house or moving a castle, and I'm going to be moving from here, relocating to here, it's going to be 6 months. They will store that for you. But they get it out, and they do their house. People just to have storage, right? And it's rampant. It's everywhere. People want stuff because their eyes are never satisfied. They want to have it. I just want to have it. So they will store it in a miniature garage with a door and a lock across town. They will store crap that they don't use, they won't use. They just want to have it. right? Like I said, 50 years ago, storage spaces were unheard of, and now they are rampant. There's 10 or 12 storage lots in every town, it seems like. Because the eyes of man are never satisfied. You never have enough. Okay? And those kind of people don't follow God. If you're searching for God, right, you'll have enough. Because God is all you need, right? Will people learn this lesson? Probably not. 21 is the finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is every man according to his dignity. That is, he's either known to be ambitious and glorious or humble and modest. What's that say over here? The crucible of silver and the furnace of gold, and each is tested by the praise accorded to him. That's a little clearer, huh? According to his dignity, the praise accorded to him. Okay? You're tested. People are tested by their praise, how you take it. Okay? Are you humble when somebody honors you? Or are you going, of course, and you're like this, and you better believe I'm the best. You don't like people like that. Nobody likes people like that. 22, though thou shouldest bray a fool in mortar among wheat, braid with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Wow, that is some old English text right there. Now I know what it says, and we'll go over here and read it. Though you pound a fool in a mortar with a pestle along with crushed grain, yet his foolishness will not depart from him. Right? Fools are going to be fools, and you can't take it out of them. Even if you grind them up, that's kind of disgusting, right? If you grind them up in a mortar and pestle, the foolishness is still with them. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat, braid with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Wow. That's why we had the other one over here. So. 23, be diligent and know the state of thy flock and take heed to the herds. Now this all goes together. For riches remain not always, nor the crown from generation to generation. The hay discovereth itself, and the grass appeareth, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And let the milk of the goats be sufficient for thy food for thy family, and for the sustenance of thy maids. Okay. And you see, we can. This all goes together. I'm going to put it all together. This is important, more important than you think. Okay, we can read it over here. Know well the condition of your flocks and pay attention to your herds, for riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure all generations. When the grass appears, the new growth is seen, and the herbs of the mountain are gathered in. The lambs will be for your clothing, goats will bring the parts of thy field, and there will be goat's milk enough for your food, for the food of your household, and the sustenance of your maidens. So, you can condense this and say, for today, men, okay? And I'm talking to men here. You got a lot of times the woman takes care of this, and this is a man's job. Okay? Am I being sexist? No. The Bible says it's a man's job. Be diligent to know the state of thy flock and take heed to the herds. Today, that was their banks then, okay? They used flocks and herds as money. You need to know the condition, men, of your bank accounts, what bills are due, when they are due. You need to know how much food is in your house. Do you have food enough stored up? Okay. Tells you stuff will come. Okay. Keep working. You need to know this stuff. Okay. Don't rely on your wife to pay the bills. You shouldn't have to ask your wife, do we have enough money for this? Okay. You should know. You should know this stuff. And if you know this stuff, you can take care of things, and things will take care of. There will be plenty of food. There'll be plenty of clothing. You know where it's coming from. Right? Important stuff. Like I said, for men. So there you go. That's Proverbs 27. Let's go over our highlights here. I highlight a lot. This is important, though. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. Do not brag. Do not be conceited. Don't think you know more than everybody else, okay? I've often said, and I made this up myself, everybody on earth knows something that you don't know. You cannot know everything. Only God knows everything, okay? Only God. Jesus, who's part of God, right? Let somebody else build you up. Okay? If you're worthy of being honored, somebody will honor you. Don't do it yourself. That's important. And we highlighted this in 4 because there's 2 different words here, 2 different thoughts, okay? One is envy. Anger is cruel and wrath is raging, but who can stand before envy? Right? A person that's envious always wants something somebody else has. Can't be consoled, okay? And even then up there, it says, for the envious are obstinate and cannot be reconciled, okay? And over here, in most of the other versions of it says jealousy, okay? Who can stand before jealousy? Wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Jealousy is the worst kind of anger because it involves the betrayal. It always involves betrayal. Somebody you love, somebody you trusted. Okay? There's 2 different things, the same thing. An envious person cannot be reconciled, okay? You're always going to want, just because they're envious, it has nothing to do with what you have and what somebody else has. It's just you want what somebody else has, okay? And you think it's not fair. I should have that. Well, work and get it, right? Jealousy, anybody. Those are 2 different things. Similar, I mean, you could use that as a similar, position, but we're just noting that it says 2 different things. 8, as a bird wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his own place, right? Stay home. And that goes along with down at the bottom, right? Know well the conditions of your flocks and your herds, right? Stay home. Know what's going on. Don't always be out, always gone, always partying with the guys. You need to stay home, right? Somebody else is going to come and take over your nest like birds do. Right. And we talked about this. 11, my son, be wise and rejoice in mine heart that I may answer him that reproacheth me, right? You're talking to your son. Be wise. Always tell the truth, right? Be of good moral character. So if somebody comes to me and reproaches me and says, your child did this and this and this, you'll be able to answer them and says, no, you're wrong. They wouldn't do that. And you can have confidence in that answer, right? Okay. 17, iron sharpeneth iron, so doth a man sharpeneth the face of his friend, right? Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another, right? Hang out with people with like interests, okay? They'll make you better at what you do. Okay? They'll make you better. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a good mechanic, you're not going to hang out with a baker, okay? A baker can't make you a better mechanic. Another mechanic can make you a better mechanic, okay? I remember I was a computer technician, and we would do large projects, in huge corporate offices where we had to change all the computers out for new computers and transfer all the information. And it took 7 or 8 months, right, to do like 2,500 computers. But there was a group of us. There was a group of like 5 or 6 of us that were doing this. And anytime somebody didn't know something, somebody else in the group usually did, okay? Because they specialized in me. I specialized in memory and RAM and hard drives and somebody can, how do you tell what size this piece of RAM, this piece of memory is? And I'm saying, well, count the chips, divide by this, look at this number. And I could teach them, and they could teach me things, and I could teach them things. And by the time this was over, we were all a lot smarter because iron sharpens iron. Right? Just, you could tell lots of stories on that kind of stuff. Okay, we highlighted 20. The grave and destruction can never be full, so the eyes of man can never be satisfied. Right? The number one problem with the earth today that the devil takes advantage of is you never have enough. Your eyes are never satisfied. Right? You always want something new and something better and something faster, something shinier. And you keep buying stuff, and you have so much stuff you have to stick it in a storage place and lock it up in a garage across town that you never see, and you're paying somebody to store stuff you never see. Crazy. Crazy. And then the 23 through 27, we won't read the whole thing again, but know well the conditions of your flocks and herds. Know well, men, know the conditions of your finances. Know what bills are due. Know when they're due. Know how much money you have. Know how they're going to be paid. Right? Know how much food is in your house. Know if you have enough stored for a rainy day. Right? And this stuff will take care of itself. So, there you have it. That's Proverbs 27. Let's take a look and see what we're doing today. I think we're finishing. Yeah, we're finishing Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah today, and are through the Bible in here, day 271, I believe. So, there you go. A lot of good lessons today. Lots of good lessons to take to heart. Okay? I may go back and listen to this again myself. So, but yeah, take these lessons to heart. But for next time, remember, stay humble. See you later.